Besides questions, you can also you can import questions from any other previous form you made. That's great. You can add a title and description to anywhere. Let's say we wanted to add it here. Add title and description. We can move it. Can't move it out of a section though. Adding title and description, you can add an image anywhere you'd like, a YouTube video, or a section. What a section means is when you get to the bottom of a form, I added a few sections, so let me show you what it looks like. When you get to the bottom of a form, instead of it saying submit, it says next, and you go to the next section. Here's section 2, you hit next. Section 3, you hit next. This could be helpful if you don't want them to go on to a next part of a test or the next part of a survey until you made sure they completed the first section. And you can do that by making the questions required. But another thing you can do with sections is have sort of a choose your own adventure or choose your own assessment or data validation, so only certain students take certain assessments. For example, for a multiple choice test, if they answer beach, they go to section 2. If they answer mountains, they go to section 3. If they answer forest, they go to section 4. So these are the advanced options for each question. So starting with multiple choice questions, if you click the 3 dots down here, you can put a description for the question, take it off, go to a section based on answer, that's what I have, and shuffle the options order. So this will shuffle the actual answers within each question. So let's say you have 3 separate forms for a 7th grader, for an 8th grader, and for a 9th grader. If you ask them what grade are you in, maybe based on their answer, you want them to go to a different part of the form. So for 7th grade, they'll go to section 2. For 8th grade, they'll go to section 3. And for 9th grade, they'll go to section 4. And again, I added these sections by clicking this button right here, add section. There's section 2. I added some questions under it, section 3 and section 4. Let's see what this looks like in real time. What grade are you in? 7th. Hit next. It brings them to section 2. But if you hit 8th grade, it should bring them to section 3. So that's an advanced option for multiple choice questions. Let's go over some other advanced options. If you have a short answer question and you hit this advanced options, you can do the description like most questions, but you can also do response validation. So if you're looking for a number, you can make the number greater than, less than, or equal to a certain number, and also put custom error text. If it's not a number and it's text, you can make sure it contains certain text or it won't let them submit it. You can make sure it's an email address or URL, and it won't let them submit it unless the data is validated. For length, if you want a paragraph, maximum character or minimum character, you say minimum character is 500 characters. Okay, so those are some good options for short answer. Checkboxes. Again, you can have a description box, shuffle option order, and response validation. Maybe you want them to select at least 2 options for a checkbox. Drop down. Again, go to section based on answer, similar to multiple choice. And most of them just have description after that. So those are advanced options for questions. Let's take a quick look at the form settings. If you go up here to settings, you have general, presentation, and quizzes. So for general, you put collect email addresses. It means they have to be signed in to an email address. If you want the form to be anonymous, you should uncheck that. If you want people to see a copy of the responses, you can check that. This is automatically checked. You might want to uncheck this. Restrict users to the organization. If it's checked, you'll only be allowed to take the form if you're in the same domain name. So if you're using your school account, only school email addresses will be able to take the form. But if you unrestrict it, anyone can do it. If you limit it to one response, respondents will be required to sign into Google. So you can limit it to one response, and you can give people who respond after they submit the form an option to edit their answers. If it's a summative test, you might not want to do that. And see a summary of answers and text responses. So those are all some pretty good options. Presentation mode, show progress bar, that's a minor option. Shuffle question order, and remember within each question you can shuffle the multiple choice answers. And show a link to submit another response. Maybe you want to allow people to submit more than one response. And you do a custom confirmation message. Okay. And then quizzes, we'll get into that in a different tutorial. So those are the basic general options. There is one more thing I want to show you up here. These are more options. This one is very important. Add collaborators. You don't send the form to your students this way. This is if you have someone else that you want to help build this form, like a co-teacher. You could put add collaborators, and it's the same as sharing a Google Doc. That's different from sending the form out, though. Make sure you understand that. And lastly, for preferences, a lot of people don't really know about this one, but I like to use it. If you're giving this as a quiz, you can make the default quiz point value. I usually leave mine at 1. You can make all questions required, so you don't have to individually do that for each question. And this will collect all email addresses. So that's a good thing to do as well. So those are some advanced options for questions and form options.